Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to League of Legends. Game number 2 coming your way of this epic best of 3 series. FourCourtJester and the Phantom Lord here. How you doing, buddy? What'd you think of that first game?
Oh, that first game, probably one of the most amazing games I have ever seen in my career here playing LoL. Just like both teams were on top of their abilities as far as what items they had and their composition and just knowing what their potential was. And those team fights would last really long, just these champions that are able to sustain and both ADs just being so deadly positioning themselves, and we had that Tristana jumping over the wall to take out 2 inhibitors, just amazing.
Yeah, that Tristana really putting just the usual on the map, but unfortunately for them could not out DPS 3 of Veritas, Celeritas, and that's who we got here. Blue team, just the usual, gonna have to try to bring it back. If they can't win this in the game series, we go 2-0 to Veritas, Celeritas, and they will be crowned the winners of the first qualifier here of the Fatal1ty League of Legends tournament. We got some big name sponsors here, and we're giving away a whole bunch of different prizes. I think today is the headsets. I am just going to triple check that, but I'm fairly certain it is.
I believe the first place gets the sound card.
Correct. I have it up here now.
Second place gets the headset. Yes.
Bam. In the chat, beyondgaming.com/page/fatality with the 1. But yeah, I mean, if you win, these guys are already guaranteed prizes because they're the top of the qualifiers. First place with those sound cards, which are beauties, by the way. And then second place for those Fatal1ty Professional Series Gaming headsets. You know, big sponsors coming out here to join Fatal1ty. We got the Fatal1ty Gaming Gear, of course, putting up the money. It's a $5,000 grand final prizing, which means that the 4 teams that qualify are going to go up against the 4 pro teams, and whoever takes first place gets $5 grand in their pocket. But we also got Sound Blaster, AS Rock, and OCZ with Newegg. Big props to them. Without them, we wouldn't have these tournaments. We wouldn't be seeing these amazing games.
Yes, indeed. And we're going into the champs look now for game 2, just the usual versus Veritas Celeritas. An amazing first match, as we said. Looking at the bans now, we have Cassiopeia, Shen, Aramis for just the usual, and Ryze, Lee Sin, Morgana for Veritas. Last game there was a 4 ban for the AP role. AP role, of course, mid lane was usually what those champions placed, and now we see we only have 3. We have the Cassiopeia, Ryze, and Morgana ban, and the standard Shen, Aramis, and Lee Sin. Lee Sin, of course, being really strong last game for just the usual, taking that dominance top lane versus the Renekton, and Veritas does not want to have that happen again, so they are going to ban it. Looking at the picks now, we see for blue side, for just the usual, going for a first pick of Udyr. Udyr is one of the stronger junglers. I don't know about that. As a first pick, they might just be trying to force Veritas into a tanky.
Could be a lane deer.
That is true. They could be sniping, but that's lane deer is not that common. Champions that have the ability to run up and melee to last hit normally don't have the best of the ability. Of course, top lane would be that lane deer where he would be positioned, and there are a lot of champions that will dominate that Udyr. Looking at the next 2 picks, we have, of course, that Janna first pick. Janna always being a really good pick, and made some great plays that last game.
I don't think Janna died.
Yeah, she didn't die at all.
She had 0 deaths the entire game.
0 deaths the entire game. Was it a 45-minute game?
Yeah. 0 deaths.
Ridiculous. you don't see that every day.
No, you don't.
Kennen as the next pick. Kennen, of course, can be a good mid lane and top lane, so gonna be trying to trick out the just the usual blue team on where that Kennen will be placed. And we have Leona and Corki. Of course, we've been seeing that at Hanover, Germany.
Leona is such a good support.
Just huge bursting lane. Leona, of course, driving her stun combo into the support normally, and Corki, of course, jumping in and blowing up the support. That support has no idea what will hit it, and of course that Janna will be the target. And we do see it going up against Janna and Ezreal bottom lane. Mid lane, looks like we're going to have a Cannon versus Gragas. Pretty standard lane. Both of them have a lot of poke, so should be interesting to see who gets that advantage from their team's jungler. And then top lane, we have Lanewick versus Irelia. That Udyr is going to be in the jungle versus the Malphite. Malphite is a good anti-AD, so he will be doing a great job against locking down that Corki. Warwick, most likely, it will be flash ulting Corki, and you'll see Malphite most likely following up. So purple team, Veritas, have a really good team fighting comp. Those two AoE ults with Malphite and Kennen. Of course, you have Ezreal with his ult, but most of the time the AD doesn't blow their ult in the fight because it's actually better to stay and auto attack and get more damage out. But we do have Gragas on just the usual blue side, so he will be able to interrupt that Warwick ult and possibly reposition the enemy team so that they will have the advantage. I'd have to say here, my money will be on purple side. Veritas do look like they have the better matchup here. What do you say, Jester?
Well, that's a lane Warwick. It's not a lane Deer, but it is a lane Warwick with a Malphite jungle. So, I mean, is that the AP mid? is that going to be the AP mid? No, it's
Kennen is going to be the AP mid.
Then it's going to be
most likely.
So then
Lanewick top lane.
Lanewick versus Irelia. I really got to give that one to Irelia. And just looking over this, I love Leona play, and I love Corki. I mean, that's just a lot of burst. And, you know, I really do like to watch that kind of play. So I'm going to give it to blue because I'm just not gelling with that Warwick. I mean, I know obviously he's not going to be their mid, but I don't know. The whole thing.
As I said last game, that it really is whoever gets up there first. You know, we saw last game that Lee Sin was given the advantage from his jungler to that Renekton, and he just snowballed. And for the rest of the game, didn't really get any pressure at all. So, I mean, I kind of agree with you that Aurelia does beat Lanewick somewhat, but it's whoever gets that jungler to help out top first. We do know that Udyr usually starts at wolves to blue, so he can be going top lane to get that gank right away. And Malphite will be starting at his blue side. Doesn't normally start at red. So if Udyr gets up there first and gets a stun onto Warwick, of course, is really squishy early on. It's sort of like a Vladimir, not really good until level 9. And they might actually get that advantage on blue side for just the usual.
So Tankwick or Magewick? I mean, anytime I see him laning, it's usually a Magewick.
Yeah, it generally the same thing. I mean, it's just you can't really build him straight mage because when you're in a team tournament like this, it's more or less solo queue. I guess you can build as a Magewick because there's not that much coordination. But in a team game here with a Gragas ult and a Leona ult, that Lanewick has to get the jump on to initiate for his team, or else if he gets initiated, then he's not going to be able to maintain all of his damage and survive because he'll get bursted down instantly.
Well, we're going to have to see how both of these teams play. I mean, of course, Double Lift, probably one of the most famous Ezreals in the world. We're going to have to see how Money Shot can live up to that. But Money Shot down there with Janna, I mean, Janna played exceptionally well. 0 deaths the entire thing. Had that Oracles throughout virtually 90% of the game, which is pretty ridiculous. And Malphite is going to counter very nicely into 3, if not 4, of the enemy heroes. I mean, just get a Frozen Heart. And, yeah, good game. Well played. We're about to jump into game number 2, just the usual versus Veritas, Celeritas. We're going to go straight to an ad from our sponsor, Soundblast, and then we're going to jump right into the game. So, guys, make sure you don't go anywhere. Great, my LoL. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the game. Alright guys, we will get this game rolling underway. Unfortunately, I can only see a quarter of my League of Legends, so I'm going to have to restart it, but that's why we're going to have Phantom Lord here. Just tell us what's going on until I can get it up. I don't know. It did this to me earlier. I thought I fixed the issue, but...
It does happen several times to me too, even in tournament games, so you're not alone in that regard. I want to point out something very interesting in this loading screen as it hasn't started just yet. The Ezreal and Janna versus the Leona and Corki lane bottom. Ezreal actually is running cleanse. So if Leona does get in her combo, Ezreal will have the ability to arcane flux and jump out of that burst. And of course Leona follows through with her ult. So a very good matchup bottom lane. I think the Ezreal was a perfect pick. We see both teams just kind of strolling out here in the mid. I don't think that they will be doing anything too crazy. The last game, both teams were playing really safe as far as their positioning. Gragas now just chilling in mid lane while Ezreal walks out and they kind of greet each other.
Keep going.
Veritas is still... they're sitting in their blue bush. Of course, they are purple side, so they're just sitting there and protecting the blue Malphite. And Ezreal sitting in the back. We do have the Malphite, of course, going to start at his wolves and take the blue. So no pressure at all from either teams. Veritas is just grouped up together while we have the other team, just as usual, on blue, sitting at all of the openings. Corki at the bottom try. We have Leona at the race entrance. Gragas at the mid, watching the crossover, and Aurelia at top. So they're playing really cautious at the start here. We do have Gragas moving over to help Udyr as the minions start. Both teams positioning at their wolves.
Woo! I'm in.
All right, good.
Thank you, League of Legends, for finally working before anything happened. Yes!
Now, even though this bottom and golems were buffed, I know Riot was trying to make it a little bit more difficult. These teams really aren't phased out by it at all. As you see, Corki and Leona take these double golems, no problem. That last golem healing up just a little bit as they're running back. And
screw you guys, I'm going home.
Take it down. Malphite and Udyr taking down blue at the exact same time. Warwick, however, placed an early ward. Look at that. So he is going to be protected from any sort of early gank. Of course, Malphite's going to run over to his race and then a red. So if his red is gone, he will, of course, alert Warwick. And Warwick should expect a gank fairly soon. But no, Udyr is going to go over to his red. Pretty standard for both junglers. I'm really interested to see how this Kennen and Gragas lane turn out. Gragas looks like he's actually pushing the wave. I don't know why. I guess Malphite doesn't really have that strength of early ganks, so it might be a good decision forcing the Kennen to have some kind of difficulty with CSing under his tower. But we will see in the level 6 turnout. Bottom we have Corki and Leona putting on that aggression, really zoning out that Ezreal and Janna. And looking at the CS count really quick, we have 15 CS, 16 CS, Corki to 8 Ezreal. So that Leona, Corki, really aggressive. They are dominating that lane early off the start.
Yeah, you can see the zoning working out. Starmie is just going to go through it on the Dragon Ward, just like we did last time when she did play that Alistar. Top lane, it looks like they don't really care about each other. They're just farming away, getting those last hits. And, you know, when you're Gragas, you got giant barrels full of purple stuff, then, yeah, I mean, they can't help but push the lane. It's all just AoE, everything he does. But if he keeps it pushed, you know, he will be susceptible to those ganks. And, you know, even getting a few of those barrels here on top of Kennen is going to force him to blow those pots. And it's kind of hard to really force all that mana out of Gragas, because he was just going to drink it back on up. But we got the blue and the red Udyr up top. I don't think that Warwick actually knows he's there, because he came straight up through the lane. Is he going to go for it? Yes, the stun into the bear form with now the Phoenix is going to pop that flash. Is this going to be the first blood? We got the ignite. We're going to go for it with another bear stun. And you can see the first blood coming out here for the Pawn Gypsy. That Irelia is going to be very happy about that.
Yeah, that was a really good initiate by the Irelia, and Udyr having really solid coordination. Earlier got that stun onto the Warwick. Instantly, Udyr responded and followed through. The Ignite went down right off the bat. As soon as Ignite lays down, a player knows that Udyr smited the small mini golem right there to take away a little bit of gold from that Malphite. But yes, as soon as Ignite goes down, you know the enemy player or players is going to commit. So Warwick instantly flashed, but unfortunately it was not enough, as the red buff from Udyr slowed Warwick, and he was not able to get far enough distance to stay alive.
So that's going to put him up 1-0. The gold lead only about 400 at this point, but a lot of tower damage. You know, that rank 1 tower down 700 hit points from that one wave, as Irelia went back to spend her cash. She gets herself that Madras Razors, maybe even another pot, 2 more wards. So she really wants to try to capitalize on this, wants to make sure nothing goes wrong. And again, you can just see this same kind of play down south. We're really keeping this lane push. We have a nice ward here by the dragon, but if Malphite ever deigned it necessary to go all the way around through the jungle, we could have a very interesting panicky bottom lane, but does not seem to be the case. We don't care, because look at this, Chris coming in again, Udyr with the stun, but we're not going to be able to dive Warwick quite yet, and Malphite's going to respond by coming on up. They're going to meet, and he's going to go their way. Like, oh, hello. There's a jump.
Yeah, turn around, no thanks. Doesn't want any part of that Malphite. I really like how Just the Usual is taking advantage. Oh, Kennen is actually putting some aggression here on Malphite. On Gragas. Oh! Gragas throws his ult, and Kennen is forced to flash. There's the barrel with the Ignite. Kennen is definitely going to fall down, and wow, what a great play there by Gragas. Kennen going in for the advantage, or the poke, to try and get some damage on, but did not calculate that well enough. And top lane, we do see Malphite now creeping up here, trying to get some sort of return, and there we see the Warwick swiping on, but he is not 6 yet. Malphite is also not 6, so they are not going to be able to do anything. Malphite is going to have to return back to his jungle and probably hold that mid lane. But yeah, Gragas did a great job there, throwing his barrel, was able to force through, taking down that Kennen with ease, and I really like how Just the Usual is taking advantage of knowing that this Malphite is not strong with his ganks early on, even though, as you see bottom, this Corki and Leona are pushed forward almost the entire early game. They've been up here in this position. They have not been worried at all. And there we see the first ward going down by Leona on that corner there to cover it in case the Malphite now, which they I'm sure are aware of, he's getting closer to 6. He might come in for gank.
Yeah, the game kind of really does change when that Malphite gets 6, with Janna gets 6, because that's a lot of movement displacers, movement modifiers that you can throw into a fight. We do have 6 on our Warwick now. He does have that ultimate ready to go, and you know, Kennen also getting up that slicing maelstrom, which he looks like he's already used. I guess he just used it to try to push the lane a little bit, because there's no damage at all on top of Gragas. Bottom lane going back, getting some wards, getting some cash. We got a nice Berserkers and double Dornblade combo going for our Corki. Wriggles now on Irelia after pushing this lane up so high. Cryo Matrix has his work cut out for him. Now it does look like both the jungles are going to be heading to this mid. Neither team knows that there's junglers here. So are we going to initiate on top of this Gragas with the counter, or is it going to be Udyr jumping in first and Malphite coming in to save the day? Or maybe neither.
I think it might be whoever initiates first. Malphite is still staying there. Looks like he really wants this. It is his turn to try and gank and give his team an advantage. He hasn't been able to do anything. Here we see him going in now. Kennen is, but Gragas turns into the, there's Ezreal all through.
Beautiful.
And Gragas, why did he turn around? I don't know why.
Well, Malphite showed himself, threw down the rug. I kind of think he expected that ultimate to follow it straight up, so he tried to juke it. Unfortunately for him, we're a little smarter than that. And that stone just like, okay, sure, now I'll do it. And look at that Ezreal. I mean, they timed that well. He went back, threw down the ultimate, got himself some assist gold. Beautiful play from Veritas, Celeritas.
And look at that CS bottom lane Corki at 76 to Ezreal's 60. that Leona Corki just doing a really, really strong job winning that lane. And that Corki is going to be pretty deadly later on. I'm excited to see this Leona tossing her ult now. They want that Janna. Look how she's sitting in the back. She
Yep.
doesn't even want to stay in the bush.
Nope.
Because if she stays in the bush, then she's going to be in one small position, one small area that Leona will be able to take advantage of. And she could throw her ult down there. She tries to get a Q onto someone to try and start a fight. But top lane, we have Warwick jumping onto Aurelia. Aurelia getting ignited now. Malphite trying to catch up, but he just doesn't have the. There he gets the flash, but Aurelia flashes and Warwick flashes too, getting stunned on top of the tower, and Warwick's getting so much hit. Aurelia is following through. Is he gonna fall? No, he gets away with just a little bit of HP, and Malphite does finish off the Aurelia. Oh my goodness, what a good play.
Well, she knew that her day was done there, but the Ignite got encountered a little bit by the health potion, by the W's. Thankfully, we did not have an ultimate on top of our Malphite because it's still on cooldown from this mid gank. Otherwise, that would have been a much different story. But yeah, Aurelia's got to be hurting a little bit from that. She warded so very carefully too. But, you know, what's Malphite to do? He can't come up through this river. He has to stay here, which means Warwick has to be the one to initiate with the 6 so he can just jump on over. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And yeah, 2-2 now. Both teams playing phenomenal. 500 gold difference at this point. Bottom lane still doing its thing, but no, they're getting pretty close to that Ujir there in the middle, Kennen, and you're already missing a little bit of hit points. You do have the blue, and you got yourself that infinite sustain with the Hex Tech, but I don't know. I don't think that our jungler's going to do it, and it looks like he's going to back off a bit.
I believe the jungler was waiting for that Gragas ult. It wouldn't be smart for the Udyr to initiate that fight because, of course, Kennen would turn into a little light ball and run away from any sort of danger. So I think he was waiting for the Gragas ult, but Gragas did say, most likely, no, back off, I don't want to do this. And, of course, Udyr went over to the enemy Wraith camp and then turned around to his jungle.
So this time last game, we already had a dragon under our belt here for Veritas Celeritas. No attempts at all at this dragon. It's probably due to this passivity in this bottom lane. I mean, we had a little bit of damage go down on top of our Ezreal, but you can see him now kind of gathering. Malphite is going to start off. We don't have any ward coverage except that pink one in the brush, so we do know what's going on because we saw everyone leave. We do throw down another ward from Starmie, but this is a very slow dragon at this point.
I think this might be dangerous. Right now, we can see that Leona toss her ult onto someone. She's going to get focused, and Gragas throws his ult, but does not get it. And there Leona does engage, but she gets turned around. There's her ult. Malphite jumps onto the Corki, and Leona falling so low. Malphite
great
is
flash.
gonna fall. Definitely. And we are trying to chase this. Corki does flash onto the Kennen.
Yep.
Kennen does flash over the wall to safety, but it looks like, I believe, Veritas got the dragon there.
They did, yeah. The ultimate steal from Gragas was so very close, but I do believe there was a smite in that, and it does look like smite's on cooldown from Malphite. So yeah, Malphite, good timing on the smite. The big difference here, however, is that Aurelia had to leave lane, whereas Warwick is now finally getting a lot of damage on top of that tower, and that's going to be feeling good for him. He has himself a Chain Vest, Sapphire, and again the Ninja Tabby. Big fan of this Ninja Tabby, those auto attack champions, and this could be, you know, really good for Veritas at this point. I mean, we looks like we got a tanky Warwick coming. We got ourselves already the tanky Malphite. I mean, look at that, 65 armor, 78 magic resist, and he got the smite on top of that dragon, so that's a lot of cash to them, and I just got a fear for blue team at this point.
Yeah, Veritas up 1,000 gold right now, just about. They do have the advantage, I believe, as far as a team fight. If they initiate with that Kennen and Malphite ult at the same time, or even Warwick flashing and ulting onto the AD carry or the Gragas, will be just so strong for them in that team fighting. Right now we see Gragas taking the blue, just roaming through as Kennen pushing the lane as he would normally do whenever the laner is gone. You do let your team know MIA, and most of the time push it so that if the player does not come back and respond to that lane being pushed, you know he's going to be ganking one of your teammates' lanes.
Dodging the shuriken. responded to a body slam. The body slam gets met with a lightning rush. Yeah, nothing of interest really going on in that mid. We did have some pings go down on top of these wards. We got a pink. We don't have a pink here on Malphite, but this could be bad news for Aurelia, except that it was warded. She's not going to fall for the same trick twice, which is exactly why she put that ward there, because, you know, that 6 from Warwick, she just does not want to deal with it. And Malphite is just going to have to go off. He's going to pick himself up a red. Not a problem. Needlessly large rod on our mid for the Gragas. Still only that Hex deck here for Kennen, although Kennen is rocking 1,700 gold.
Oh, Gragas did actually steal that red.
Oh, man.
From Malphite.
Oh, man.
And Malphite wants revenge jumping in here, but
oh, beautiful.
For the wall. Right as Malphite. What a clean dodge. He's feeling good. He stole that red.
Beautiful.
He's helping his team out. Got a big belly. He's happy. And taking a look at the CS count, mid lane we do have Gragas and Kennen even. Top lane we do have the Warwick at 90 CS to the Aurelia at 104. So the Aurelia just beating by a little bit, not too much. Bottom lane we do have the Ezreal at 104. Looks like Janna did pop her ult there with some aggression.
Yeah, there's definitely some aggression. Look at that Ezreal hit point count. He even popped his cleanse to get out of that one. But oh no, I broke my own rule. Gragas takes down a kill on the top of this mid.
It's alright, even I missed that. Kennen getting dangerously close. He died right in the center. Usually means he's overextending and not really watching his position. I do not know if Udar got an assist there, but I sort of doubt it. As Gragas now with a needlessly large rod rushing a death cap. He's going to have so much damage, but look at top lane. Warwick almost killing Aurelia. Aurelia first to flash out, and she's going to go back into the lane.
My, that is quite the hit point difference, but look at that Frozen Heart coming out for that Warwick. He's up to that Glacial Shroud. As we said, get that tank wick going, get that tanky Malphite, and you're going to be shutting down 3 of your enemy opposers, and it looked like it worked out really well for him right there. Really a, you know, tail between her metaphorical legs, but right now, 4-2. The gold pretty much dead even. 300 gold is the difference. Ezreal all healed up, has himself that best friend sword. Corki again with the best friend sword. So the Corki last game went for the Trinity over everything else. Had a whole bunch of Dorn's Blaze and a Trinity. This round, our Corki going for more of an attack damage based. And I don't know, for a kill lane, especially with a Leona support, it's been very passive down here.
Yes,
whatever
indeed.
that noise was.
This Warwick now. He's going to be, I believe he's going to be some sort of troublesome later on. The blue side, just the usual, has 3 ignites to counter that sustain. Of course, with the burst of Gragas. Bottom lane, we do have some still exchange. Leona trying to get that ult combo up, but they do have a ward in that bush, so they will see her, and they will be ready for that combo that she'll be bursting out. Malphite now roaming around the mid side. There might be a dragon coming up soon, so I believe that all the team members are going to group around. Yes, we do see some wards coming down. We have pink ward mid, so they're trying to claim that territory for themselves.
Check out
Top
Warwick.
lane, we do have Aurelia pushing.
Frozen Heart, man.
Oh,
17-minute Frozen Heart, 107 creep kills, and not a kill to his name. I really doesn't care. Landing some tower damage. She's going to lose that fight. And we should have this Dragon come up around 18, 15 or so, because it was about the 12-minute mark that it went down. Maybe a little later, maybe 12 and a half. So should be up in 60 seconds. The wards went down. It's cool. Bottom lane backing Baron, or not Baron, but you know, the player I got Baron. Malphite down here just clearing up the creep wave. That's actually going to be some decent auto attack onto that turret. And again, the only turret down is this middle one, but we almost have a hat ready for loopiness, this Gragas player. And there's that dragon, 18-minute mark. Okay, so.
And they're on it. We do see that the Aurelia was pushing top, trying to take that tower, and she is going to respond faster than the Warwick. So if she gets there in time, it will be a 5v4 fight, but we have the blue team closing in.
We got
some aggression. Leona gets her ult onto Ezreal, but he does get out in time. Gragas does get ulted. Is he able to throw his barrel? There he goes down, but he doesn't have the best positioning. Gets ignited, and Kennen falls down. Leona barely getting away. Is Aurelia able to take down? Yes, she does take down Malphite, and
oh my goodness, this is going to be 4 kills if we can land this Janna. Warwick does not care. He's going to be taking that top tower while we wait for everyone else, but Havx is going to get out of this. So what started off to be a nice clean Dragon got very good response from Just the Usual. They came in, they sweeped 3 enemies, and yeah, that Malphite ult, not the best. That Kennen focus, that's right. We don't want no slicing Maelstrom up in here. And, you know, that's exactly what they did. They just shut them down. They took them. And, you know, Cryomatrix, yeah, you said that I really was going to be the first to react, but I don't think he actually cared. He got himself the turret. He went home. People are buying stuff. We got the Rabadons. We got our Will of Ancients. Things are going to be heating up.
Yeah, we're going to see some team fights here in the next couple of minutes. 5 to 15 minutes mark. We're going to have a lot of damage going out. This is sort of a bursty team from both sides, so depends on how the positioning goes for either end. Gragas, of course, having his ult now with the death, with the cap, going to be pulling out so much damage.
300 ability power. That's a lot of ability power. We have the Infinity Edge for our Raging Kenny, our Corki, and we have that Wit's End for Irelia. So, you know, stacking that attack speed, that's what you want to do, especially with that Wriggles. You know, a lot of sustain that you can burst out onto there. This Veritas team does not seem to have an answer at this point. They're just going to fall back, and they are down 2 turrets. Well, okay, I guess the difference is 1 turret, but they have lost their bottom in that exchange as well.
Just the usual now, sort of grouping up here in the mid. No wards out there. Janna now putting down a ward. Is she going to jump into this bush? Is she? Oh, Gragas, what are you doing? Initiate on that, and there he does.
Oh my god!
Destroyed. I don't know what happened. She might have seen like a nice butterfly or something and just
got distracted, maybe disconnected. Yeah. I don't know. She just stopped moving, and that allowed a huge combo. That was everything. That was all of Gragas' abilities, but hey, gets him a nice kill. We're going to be chasing off this Malphite. Some big pressure can now be mounted to this mid. Janna, that's her first death now in 2 games.
It is.
It is.
And I think she lost in Oracles as well.
I did not notice she had an Oracles.
She did have an Oracles, I do believe so.
I don't see it purchased here, so...
No?
Usually it tells you when they purchase an Oracle, so I'm going to go with no at this point. Malphite's going to come in with the Ezreal and the Slicing Maelstrom, but it's just not enough damage to catch everyone here. Although we do got a big stun there onto the Corki. It's not going to matter. The Tankwick does go down. We still got Udyr here, but that turret is just going to start hurting. We're only about the 22-minute mark, 21-minute mark. So those turrets still deal significant damage, but hey, we're going to get out of that. 1 kill ahead and a lot of health missing. We could push this turret, and I think that's exactly what the team's going to do.
Oh, and there's that Janna almost getting bursted down the same exact way by Gragas. That's what you will see throughout the game. Gragas trying to snipe someone on the enemy team or split them in out position as they take now this first tower in the base, and most likely, nope, they're going to turn around and take... just leave, take that 1 tower.
2 turrets and 2 kills, though.
Interesting enough, Veritas, they engaged on top of their tower there, even though they had Janna dead. Oh, Ezreal's following Corki right now. Corki overextended his state. Is he going to fall?
Nope.
No, Leona's there to protect. But oh, Malphite and Kennen are coming through.
Malphite no ult, though. No fight. No fight. Yeah, no fight from the Malphite. That's all right. Leona's going to sacrifice herself to get everyone out of there in trouble. Noble sacrifice. Jumped right in. Then that's okay because... hey, they got 2 turrets, 2 kills out of it, and she was able to protect her teammates. Although it does look like maybe we're making a beeline to this Baron. 22 minutes in, it does look like we are very interested in that. You can see that Oracle's now picked up on the Janna. And oh no, we caught the late cover too. Money shot goes down to the Gragas ultimate. And look at the big burst. We're going to be chasing off that Kennen. I got Baron. His flashes out, jumps in with his ultimate. It's not going to matter. Going for that Baron was a terrible idea in retrospect because another 2 free kills. Loopy's still looking for a kill on top of that Janna. It just melts her hit points. It's not enough for a kill, but Veritas and Celeritas just do not have an answer at this point. It's 11-3 and 5k gold in their deficit.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking by going to that Baron. Like you said, Gragas is the strongest on the blue team, just as usual, and his ult, that close area that Baron pit is, he's able to hit almost all of the teammates if he enemies if he places that right. And because of course he is fed and has that death cap and Will the Ancients, he's going to be dealing out so much damage. Jana knows this all too well, almost dying twice to a full combo by Gragas. And we see the CS count now on the ADs. Of course, this Corki has 2 kills over the Ezreal with 0 and has 200 CS to 158. So the Ezreal is a lot stronger than the Corki is a lot stronger than Ezreal, but we do see Udyr coming in now, getting a stun onto Malphite.
Yeah, that's a dead rock. If you can be more dead than a rock, but yeah, unstoppable streak coming out for our AP character on just the usual. Brand last game, Gragas this round, and you know it's not about that it's not about that top lane. Today is the day for our AP mid. 6-1-4, 184 creep kills to his name, and 8,900. Going to be closing out at 9,000 gold. He is far and above everyone in this match.
Yeah, he's certainly having a great time helping out his team, going around the map, getting still in that red from the enemy jungle earlier, and just throwing his ult down without little to no pressure at all. So he is living in AP heaven right now, being the hero of the team and able to dish out so much damage.
Oh man, another tower going down. 12-3. We're extending that gold lead up to the 7,000 mark, and one barrel takes out pretty much half of Janna's health at this point. And you just saw it explode right there. Leona staying in the forefront. If she can get a nice stun off on a 2 or 3 here, that could be game. And you can see this positioning. You know, they're playing their little dance. They're trying to get that, you know, optimal spot. But no, we're just gonna back off. We're gonna pick up a free dragon spawning at the 25-minute mark. Next one in and around the 31. Yeah, it just goes down so fast.
Yeah, I don't know what Veritas was thinking by even getting close to that blue bush. Of course, they are so far behind on gold and items. Initiating a fight would most likely be the downfall to their team. But we do see that just the usual backed off from that instead of deciding to fight, taking the dragon, playing it safe. Gragas did get that blue from the enemy team and is now going to happily take his wolves, while looks like Udyr will take their blue.
Yeah, a little bit of jungling going down, no problem. 8,000-ish gold difference. That's a good deficit to come back. We have a Bloodthirster on Money Steal, and that's an Ezreal. What do you think of that?
It's too late in the game. We're looking at 26 minutes, especially with so many towers down. They have 5 towers down. Ezreal won't really have the leisure to farm that Bloodthirster up to where he wants it to, so I don't think that was the best item choice, but you know, we'll see if he's able to put forth the damage and do what he did last game with that 80 roll. See, both teams are now sort of grouping up around that Baron, which is now spawn.
Yep.
Malphite does have the red, Janna with the oracles. Leona does not have an oracle, so Janna might be facing.
Oh my goodness!
Getting blown up again. Warwick forced to flash, and there's the Warwick ult. Here we have initiation. Kennen running in, getting exhausted. Warwick trying to run away, but dies. And there we see Kennen taking down Leona with a last-second shuriken, falling to Gragas. And they're definitely going to take that tower, which has almost no HP.
Yeah, the two teammates here, Veritas and Celeritas, they were trying to chase down a Corki. Corki might be going in for that inhibitor, but yeah, that inhibitor is actually already down. Maybe he's just going to transition down here. Bottom, pick up some of these creeps, try to keep up this pressure. Top is definitely falling. That was one barrel plus an ultimate from Loopy. And he has himself a Will of the Ancient, so it's a lot of regen, and he has another needlessly large rod, which means he's looking at himself as Zonia's.
Yep, 531 HP is just so strong with that combo, able to blow up almost everyone. And
GG's.
GG's are being thrown out now.
That means game number 3 going to come out here, 4-0 surrender, and that loopiness, man, he really stole the cake on that one. And yeah, I mean, Malphite looked like he was going to counter very nicely. Got a nice big tank quick, but in the end, even though it's not for the reasons I cited, it does look like, you know, blue team was able to come out on top.
Your early bet was correct. I unfortunately did not have my team win.
That's
But
all right.
that Malphite, I think he didn't put enough pressure on in the lanes early on, and that Udyr, of course, did, giving that top that early advantage and ganking blue, with Gragas forcing 2 kills onto Kennen, taking that lane and dominating. And I honestly think that Mundo might have been a better pick, having an aggressive jungler to counter that Udyr with his early gank. But nevertheless, we did see an awesome game there by Just the Usual, taking that with 15-4.
15-4, yeah, pretty convincing score. This is going to force us into a game number 3, and I don't know, Malphite, no early ganks. I mean, you got to have that 6 for those ganks, man. So they had a lot of time to do their stuff, and I mean, I think we got first blood on that Kennen from the mid with the help of Udyr, right? So, or no, it was Warwick up top, but it was still Udyr with the early ganks. So to counter that, yeah, we're gonna need someone else. As you said, Dr. Mundo would be great, but we're gonna have to see what they want to do. Game number 3 gonna be coming at you guys, the first qualifying round of the Fatality tournament, and I gotta say, you know, this is pretty good stuff to watch, man. Pretty good stuff. So
I agree.
FourCourtJester and Fatal1ty, we'll be right back. Until then, our sound blaster commercial and then some music as we get this game rolling for you guys.